Good morning, privates.
Good morning, Drill Sergeant.
I mean, seriously, it's gorgeous outside. I love the way the sun comes through those trees.
Why is he so happy?
What did you say, Private?
Nothing, Drill Sergeant. You seem to be in a good mood today.
Astute observation, Private.
He's probably happy because he found out Honey Nut Cheerios can help lower cholesterol.
So, I propose a quiet, meditative walk through nature. Does that sound delightful to everyone?
Yes, Drill Sergeant.
Good!
We welcome you back to sunny California here at the USA Ultimate College National Championships. And we're set for our second semifinal, the first though in the women's division. The 3 seed UC Santa Barbara, Burning Skirts, and the 2 seed University of North Carolina, Pleiades. The top 4 teams in the women's division all qualifying for the semifinals. It was a tight one for University of Washington earlier this morning, but they sneaked past UC Davis. The top 3 in the women's division have really been fantastic, including UCSB and UNC, who are about to collide. And with that, we say good afternoon once again with Ian Toner. I am Evan Lepler. It's a thrill to be back with you here at College Nationals. And look, the women's division and club has long been defined by chalk. We expected perhaps some unpredictability. Not so, that the best teams are here in the semis.
Well, these programs have players who have experience at that club level, right? This Pleiades roster littered with players that just qualified for the semifinals with Phoenix. UCSB, on the other hand, has a bunch of homegrown and other area talent that is lifting up the top end of that roster.
I think folks are pretty familiar with some of UNC's best players. I'm excited for them to get to know some of UCSB's stars, because this is a program obviously with a ton of tradition. 5 national titles. They had 5 straight trips to the semis, culminating in the championship in 2011, but this is their first time in the Final Four, Ian, in a decade. We know Jasmine Childress, we know Caitlin Weaver, they're established stars, but Elsa Winslow has been the speedy revelation of the tournament.
I tell you what, I watched every single point of her pool play game against Texas. 8 goals, 4 assists, 1 block. No one at this tournament has had an answer for her downfield as a receiver or as a defender. She's just able to get run through blocks on the force side and break side like it's nothing. I have no idea how Carolina is going to come up with an answer for her.
And yet we know Carolina has tons of different athletes to throw at her, including Dawn Colton, who's good for 2-3 blocks a game. So says Jesse Jones. We've known that this UNC women's team has been rising up. 2 years ago, 2019 in Round Rock was their first ever semis appearance. And there's a litany of stars we could discuss, but Ella Jungst is making a name for herself.
Look at the club championships just a couple months ago. She was a leading goal scorer in the women's division. And it's interesting. She says that in these championship settings, she gets a little nervous and she can get in her own head. But she also says that that pressure gets her into her zone of optimal performance. It's like she's not living or breathing the moment unless she has that nervous energy. How can she harness it? We're about to watch.
Well, there's Carolina coming up in both the women's semi and then the second men's semi later. Ella's brother Anders will be competing in that one too. It's a big day for Carolina, a big day for the Jungst. But can UCSB spoil the Carolina coronation? We'll find out over the next couple of hours. Burning Skirts, Pleiades coming up.
Good morning, privates.
Good morning, Drill Sergeant.
I mean, seriously, it's gorgeous outside. I love the way the sun comes through those trees.
Why is he so happy?
What did you say, Private?
Nothing, Drill Sergeant. You seem to be in a good mood today.
Astute observation, Private.
He's probably happy because he found out Honey Nut Cheerios can help lower cholesterol.
So, I propose a quiet, meditative walk through nature. Does that sound delightful to everyone?
Yes, Drill Sergeant.
Good!
I have dreamt of performing in Red Shore City since I was a little kid.
Here she is, the star of our show. There's nothing Rosita can't do.
I can't do this. She's afraid. Can I try?
No. Push away!
This is probably for the best.
But I wrote this part for you. Time to show the world what you're really made of.
Sing 2, rated PG.
The 2021 USA Ultimate College Championships are presented by Discraft, home of the Ultrastar, the official disc of USA Ultimate. Your place for all your ultimate and disc golf needs. Visit discraft.com. We make flying discs fun. The first women's semifinal features two teams that have not lost all season. Starting lineup for UCSB, Hasbrook, a big thrower. Ishii, one of the leaders. Weaver was a Callahan finalist in the canceled 2020 season. Bloom, Cortez, Quinn, and Cruz. The cutters for Pagella and Fontaine. Pleiades, they are loaded. Connerly, the former Ohio State star, with Sydney Rader and the athletic Alex Barnett. Holder, Colton, Lauder, and Monroe. That looks like a Pleiades D-line. And North Carolina will start the game on defense in their blue jerseys. This could be a really interesting matchup, Ian. I think these two teams both feel like they're good enough to win a championship this weekend. Which one can absorb the early adversity and play through the challenges better, I think is going to be the decisive factor.
Yeah, Coach Jesse Jones of Pleiades told us that Georgia was probably the team that gave Pleiades its biggest test, but neither of these teams really tested in their morning quarterfinal. Should be pretty fresh for the semifinal matchup.
Here's Caitlin Weaver on the opening possession, picked up by Alex Barnett. Julia Hasbrook being forced backhand. And Weaver launches a deep backhand. And it hung up there. And I beg your pardon, it was Mackenzie Miller that launched that throw that ended up being the game's first turn.
Alana Holder got the block there. She had been dealing with a shoulder injury leading up to this tournament, so interesting to see her go up and reach overhead to get that block. Hope everything stays intact for her.
Colton overthrows Holder on the upline shot, right as I was getting ready to praise UNC's D-line offensive efficiency. That is kind of the thing that separated this Carolina team from others in the division. Tough grab, contested. Felicia Cruz hangs on.
Not just that, before they get the disc, this group's matchup defense is arguably the best in the country.
Yep. Not sure who would argue with you there. UCSB is going to take their shots, and Weaver had both hands on it, shy of the goal line, and let it slip away.
Well, hey, that's what Julia Hasbrook can do. Ripping flicks to the deep space, and hard to understand exactly what went wrong there. Weaver's going to have to find a way to get this disc back.
There's still very little wind here in Norco, California, about an hour east of Los Angeles. Tough snag by Holder. Squeezes it through the tight space. This is Lauder. Looked like there was some contact, but Rader did not make a call. And that's the fourth turnover of this game's opening point.
You can expect to see Yu Ishii playing on both sides of the disc for Santa Barbara, making her presence known early with a nice layout block.
Notably Jasmine Childress, who's one of the dynamic deep threats, just dynamic everything for UCSB, not on the field for this opening point, which is an O point for Burning Skirts.
Sydney Rader got a hand on that swing and popped it up in the air.
And then Olivia Monroe finished it off. I think technically you give Monroe the block because she's the one that prevented anyone else from catching it. But you're right on Rader.
Think about defensive football stats. Tackles and sacks, you can split them and give everyone.
Heck of a snag by Connerly, and then she shoots it to the end zone. It's deflected by Devin Quinn and caught anyway by Dawn Colton. Pleiades breaks to take a 1-0 lead.
What a sequence for this Carolina D-line offense. First, Sydney Rader gets out there and stops that swing from continuing down the flick sideline. Monroe knocks it to the turf. And then how about this extension to save possession? Grace Connerly stepping up, shooting to the end zone. Devin Quinn, the only true freshman on this Burning Skirts roster, gets a hand on it, unable to cleanly block it completely, and Dawn Colton maintains the focus.
Heck of a snag from Grace Connerly, who graduated from Ohio State in just a couple of years, now in grad school at UNC, and Dawn Colton has had a tremendous tournament. I mean, Jessie Jones says about her team, they believe that they're good. You know, they're primed to win a championship. They have everything they need. Jessie called this edition of Pleiades the best team she's ever coached. And this is the best version of them. It really felt like they were primed to peak here in Cali.
Well, so much of this Pleiades squad has just played together at the club level in addition to their grueling, grinding collegiate practices, and this group has made the most of its opportunities during the pandemic as well. We heard stories from players on both Pleiades and Darkside about commitments to smaller pods and bubbles to keep each other safe, and frankly, to keep the opportunity to play 3-on-3 all summer during the pandemic alive.
They played a lot of co-ed mini during the pandemic, and obviously a lot of really good players in Chapel Hill and throughout the Triangle. They kept their pods small, they stayed safe, and they developed skills when a lot of folks didn't have the opportunity to do so. Big backhand huck, and it's adjusted too well by Elsa Winslow, her first touch. Winslow up the line, but just out of the reach of the bidding Julia Hasbrook.
I want to see more of this Winslow-Colton matchup as we see one deep shot to Colton.
And Winslow closed the gap, but Colton makes the catch, absorbing a little contact from Winslow in the process. This is Louder to Colton. She's in again. Are you kidding me? Dawn Colton with back-to-back breaks for Carolina. This one even more impressive than the last.
I'll tell you what, we got my answer for how Carolina's gonna deal with Elsa Winslow. Dawn Colton is that answer here in the early stages. Winslow adjusted on the early deep shot, but then her throw into the end zone too far for Hasbrook, and Colton, after the turnover, just winning multiple one-on-one matchups against Winslow. And you know, we shouldn't be surprised by that. We talked to the leaders and the captains, and whenever this Pleiades team goes away for summer break, winter break, whatever, they check in on their group text messaging services. Hey, here's a workout I'm doing. Hey, here's a workout I'm doing. Jessie Jones says it's always a competition for second place behind Dawn Colton, because Dawn Colton wins every single one of those workout challenges by a mile.
You see the road to the championship for Pleiades Went over UC San Diego. They pulled away from the Dragon Coalition. UCSD, the defending champs, they won in 2019. They were called the Psychos. They rebranded themselves. UC San Diego was in the all-name change pre-quarter against Colorado Quandary, formerly Colorado Collie. Bad throw there. And Burning Skirts really could use a stop right now. Nowhere that we haven't seen Jasmine Childress on the field yet for UCSB. And they need her. Barnett, squeeze it through. Raider back up the line, 3-0. Pleiades. All UNC at the outset in this women's semifinal.
The experience, the depth. And not just depth, 15 through 27 on the roster. The depth 7 through 14 on the roster as well, shining through in these early stages for Pleiades. Just winning matchup after matchup. Not needing to do anything particularly crazy from a strategic perspective.
And I asked Jessie what was the key to the pre-quarter or to the quarterfinal win this morning. She said UCSD just couldn't get open against our defense, and we're seeing a similar story unfold here. Burning Skirts are struggling to get open, create consistent strings of passes, and Carolina looks like a well-oiled machine.
It's funny, the other thing Jessie Jones told us was there were times this fall or over the summer before the group fully came back, they had to have conversations about load management because there were 4 practices a week, 2 chances a week to play mini, some players not taking a single rest day in a 7-day period, and Ultimate's ruling on the body. And it's great when these athletes are in shape and get reps and taking care of themselves, but you don't want to get injured before the big dance.
There's Jasmine Childress on the line for the first time for Burning Skirts. She was in Europe till just a few days before Nationals. But she's an incredible all-around athlete. I mean, an overachiever. 4 years of high school basketball, high school track and field. And she also played college volleyball at Florida Southern, started playing Ultimate at grad school at UCSB, and has been one of the dominant athletes in this division. Just plays with a powerful grace, and they need her to be a powerful contributor if they're going to have any chance of upsetting UNC.
Flying back from Switzerland, where she's currently on a Fulbright scholarship.
No big deal.
To compete at college championships. What am I doing with my life, Evan?
Hey, you're in a pretty good spot too. Where would you rather be than right here, right now?
Okay, Marv Levy.
Not all of us understand your Buffalo references, but our producer, Dave Tasca, certainly does. A heck of a grab there to maintain possession by Winslow. Need another look at that. We'll get one after she throws the assist to Yu Ishii. And Burning Skirts are on the board.
It wasn't pretty. North Carolina Pleiades has to be happy with the defensive pressure, an opportunity at a block that it generated. I mean, Dawn Colton, full extension, gets a hand on it. I can't fault her. Normally, I'd want to yell at someone for not catching their blocks, but that was such a tough situation. And then Santa Barbara getting a response on the board. I was worried that this was going to start to get even more out of control very quickly.
Well, now UCSB will be able to get their D-line on the field, and we're going to see Carolina's O-line for the first time. One of the stories of the tournament was with North Carolina handler Tyler Smith. She was wearing a walking boot the first couple days of the tournament. She played this morning. Said there was a little soreness in the second half. It was a lower leg calf muscle strain. And Tyler Smith is on the field for UNC this first O point, and she'll catch the centering pass from Bridget Meisner.
Look, if UCSB can generate a turnover at some point, the game plan has to be run Tyler Smith on the turn. Not that Tyler can't be a capable defender, but you gotta exploit and test Smith in this condition.
Teresa Yu back to Meisner, and now it's Smith. Oh, what a catch by Yu. Leaving her feet to keep possession alive. How would you characterize this defense? Like a 3-3-1?
Yeah, I'm trying to see how it's taking shape. I do see those three levels. I'm on board with that, 3-3-1. But it's not a cup.
No.
It's more of an inverted triangle at the front. Taking away those lane poaches. Taking away the lanes with poaches, I beg your pardon.
Tyler Smith has the disc in the end zone. A standstill score for Smith, and Carolina leads 4-1. Play of the point was from Teresa Yu.
She's a hell of a story, Evan.
Yeah.
Has been studying abroad in Denmark. The Pleiades leadership actually put a plan together where a younger player, Rachel Yao, a freshman, would play her role all fall in practice. But Rachel Yao wasn't going to be able to make nationals, and Teresa Yu was going to be able to fly back just in time for the national championships. So Teresa got here Thursday, got her first reps with this group Friday morning, and she slotted in nicely to the offense. And I don't know many other programs that could pull off a lineup switch just like that and have it work so well.
Well, apparently at the last cycle of U20 tryouts, Teresa was the fastest player there, and it wasn't even close, according to our sources.
I want to see her and Elsa Winslow.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Race a 40 here.
More important competitions
Right.
in the immediate present. Hasbrook initiates. Weaver through the hands of Winslow. Connerly kind of looking at Sydney Rader. You want to pick it up? Should I pick it up? I guess I can pick it up. Barnett wide open when she runs toward the defense in the middle of the field.
Backfield just a little out of sync here.
So what do you do when you're having trouble generating some flow? You just launch it deep. With a receiver like Alex Barnett, got a good chance for success. And what a year it has been for the state of North Carolina in ultimate. That turnover notwithstanding. Weaver. Oh, she dropped it again.
How about the fearlessness from Hasbrook, though? Two defenders shading over the top, and Hasbrook pulls the trigger anyway.
And a perfect throw. Did she keep that in? No. Colton ruled out of bounds. It's almost as if Carolina has a game plan. Let's throw it to Colton by the sideline so she has a chance to make crazy grabs.
I want to get another look at that one after this point.
Ishii swings it over to Hasbrook. Weaver, guarded by Barnett. Flying defensively, Colton. But Winslow had the step underneath. It's been a while, Ian, since I can remember watching a player leave their feet defensively more than Dawn Colton does. In the college division, at least.
She's got tenacity. No question about it. And again, this Pleiades defense.
Beaten that time by some textbook offense from Burning Skirts. The Atlanta, or the Falmouth, Maine native Devin Quinn who has the goal. Was she in or was she out? Oh my.
Yeah, that's a catch.
The Orange missed that one.
Once again, Pleiades did put her in a very difficult spot, and it didn't need to be that tough. Good response from Santa Barbara here. Recovering after a drop. Nice textbook dump swing offense, opening up a break side score.
And the freshman from Maine with her first score as Ishii picks up the assist. UC Santa Barbara entered this national championships as the 3 seed. They were the top seed in Pool C. Rampage through that 4-0, the closest game against Michigan. They were actually down at halftime against Texas. They were down 8-6 against Melee before an absurd 9-1 run in the second half to win 15-9. That was the Elsa Winslow half that you were talking about. Smith's huck hauled in. Zwierzinski. Julia Zwierzinski, the grad student from Cary, makes it 5-2 for Chapel Hill.
Tell you what, Tyler Smith looks pretty comfortable so far. Putting that one up on a shelf. Zwierzinski attacking. Had the height advantage on her defender. That's an easy hold. If you're Santa Barbara, you want to be forcing just a few more throws than that.
And that's 2 0 points for the Carolina O-line, and both of them have been very quick conversions. One goal, 1 assist, and just a couple of points played for Smith. Smith, one of the half-dozen players from this Pleiades team that was on the Raleigh Phoenix squad that took the eventual national champs San Francisco Fury to the brink in that thriller of a semifinal. Southern California a couple months ago. And look, you know, moral victories, you don't necessarily want to celebrate them. But I think for that Phoenix team, playing Fury the way they did in their first ever semifinal, that was a really special accomplishment, even though Fury won that game. And more than an accomplishment, it's a meaningful building block for the future, as that Burning Skirts huck sails errantly for the turn.
Well, Ella Youngst said as much to us in the lead up to this tournament. What did she learn about herself? What did she take away from that tournament? I don't need to be intimidated by big name opponents. Sure, San Francisco Fury is the dynasty.
They've won a couple championships.
Sure, they're littered with World Games talents, but she can hang with them. She can score on them. She can defend them. Just invaluable experience for Youngst and the rest of her Phoenix teammates. And I'm excited to see this Phoenix program do more in the coming years.
Weaver gets the disc back for Burning Skirts. incomplete. Inevitably, Ian, walking around the complex the last couple days, have some conversations with folks about the upcoming World Games tryouts, which are going to be the 14 players, 7 men, 7 women, representing Team USA this summer in the quadrennial event in Birmingham, Alabama, as the deep shot sails out of bounds, but we may have a call. And, you know, I'm not sure how many of these North Carolina women are going to make this iteration of the World Games team.
Oh, yeah.
But it feels like a guarantee that whether it's 3 or 4 years from now, whenever the next World Games is, there will be some of these UNC players, some young North Carolina stars in the mix.
I'm with you. Dawn Colton, Bridget Meisner, Ellie Jungst.
Just to get started, to name the candidates. Mitch Dengler, good to see Mitch, the head observer. Good snag by Barnett. I will say the observers work really hard and are so committed and passionate to the sport with very little compensation, if any. And it's been fun to see them again. And, you know, do they get every call right? Of course not. A great team like North Carolina doesn't get every red zone throw right. We don't get everything right up here in the booth, but their hearts are in an unbelievable place when it comes to putting this sport where it needs to be.
Had some great conversations this morning with one of our favorite observers, Hank Carey. Great to see him back here at the fields. Oh my goodness, Dawn Colton, did she just do it again?
Caitlin Weaver called a foul. You be the judge.
I do see forearm contact. I can see an argument for a foul. Are you skeptical of that?
Looked to me like a pretty good play. But there may have been forearm contact that you said that I could not really see on the replay. It's a tough shadow right now. Foul call is upheld by the crew of observers.
As I was saying, had a great conversation with Hank Carey this morning, and he was talking about all the work that the observers did over the pandemic, and specifically in the lead up to this tournament. A couple Observer U hyper-focused webinars, going back over game tape, learning from each other's experiences, talking about how to develop rapport with the coaches, to manage the games appropriately within the confines of the rule set. These folks give so much of their time and energy, and we're so grateful for all they do for the sport.
Go ahead.
Even when they get a call wrong and we bury them on the broadcast.
Yeah, I love that they're still willing to look me in the eye and have a conversation afterwards.
Devin Quinn tosses it back to Julia Hasbrook. And here's Yu Ishii unleashing it deep. Caitlin Weaver's in the end zone for Burning Skirts. As you said, Ian, it hasn't always been pretty, but they're hanging around here and trying to generate some rhythm.
I'll have some more confidence in UCSB's ability to mount a comeback when I see an easy O point from this group. I haven't seen one of those yet.
That's fair.
And I think that's a combination of the pressure that North Carolina is applying. I think it's a combination of the pressure of the setting, getting to Santa Barbara. And I would just be surprised to see Carolina throw itself out of this game or concede the advantage that it has now. I understand things can happen. I just have so much confidence in this Pleiades group right now.
That was the third straight offensive hold for UC Santa Barbara after they got broken on their first 3 0 points. But with that said, 2 of those 3 holds included a pair of turnovers apiece that they were able to deny Carolina the break with their O-line D. All right, Carolina's O-line has been flawless and efficient. Smith in the center. Here's Youngst. Lefty backhand downfield, bobbled but hung on to by Zrezinski. When you watch this Carolina offense, obviously they have got great athletes and throwers, but they're really well coached by Jesse Jones and Elizabeth Parker and Claire Revere. Their system, they move well together, the Seven Sisters.
We can't say enough about all of the development and coaching commitment in that triangle area. And yes, Pleiades has its own special core there. Someone else who's been forced into a quasi-coaching role this last semester is Ann Worth.
Right.
Sidelined by injury, hopeful to be back for the spring.
Even after her ACL injury, I mean, she was the Callahan Award winner during the canceled season last year, and you talk to the folks in Pleiades, they still say Ann's the best player in North Carolina, and she probably still will be even after the ACL.
I can't believe I didn't mention her name when we were talking about World Games candidates. Forgive me.
Youngst to the end zone for Meisner. Pleiades' O-line remains very steady.
This North Carolina offense just able to do what it wants. It sets up its isolation to Youngst to get things going and gain a huge chunk right off the bat. And then it moves into dominant, powerful handler movement in small spaces. That is the product of having played hours and hours and hours of mini together right there. Other teams sure can execute a strike cut, but how many times have Meisner and Youngst connected on that over the last 2.5 years waiting for this opportunity?
How about that nugget? 6 different Carolina players have scored their 6, or have assisted their 6 goals thus far. 5 different goal scorers. Colton caught the first 2 and had a bunch of others contributing since. Connerly getting ready to pull. Pretty good hustle by Alex Evans getting down there to cover that pull. Evans bouncing up and down on on Ishii. Bobbled and dropped by Quinn. And obviously there's a lot of time left in this game to 15, but this feels like a really key defensive stand here for UCSB. And Carolina converts again. The point begins and ends with Grace Connerly, and it's 7-3 UNC.
So here we go. Another unforced turnover for Santa Barbara. We've seen so many of these in this first half. And then after the turnover, Julia Hasbrook just gets caught disc watching defensively. Loses track of Connerly streaking in that upline space. Such an easy space to exploit. Pleiades is looking unstoppable right now, Evan.
And you're not just talking about today, are you?
Absolutely not.
Carleton, Washington, the other semifinal. Of course, Carleton, the #1 seed. Still uncertain about the status of one of their stars, future North Carolina star, Karen Earhart, who was an undergrad at Carleton, now in grad school at UNC. Could be playing for UNC right now, but also has the option to play with Carleton. Also has a personal issue that has kept her and her sister out of California. And it was up in the air whether they were going to be able to fly cross country at the last minute to perhaps contribute for the semifinals. That's certainly a lingering storyline for Carleton. Tell you, Syzygy had one really rough half. Their first half of the tournament with Florida State on Friday morning. They did not look very good. Since then, they've looked really solid. Carly Campana leading that Syzygy squad.
I can't wait to see what they're going to bring later tonight. How are they going to deal with Abby Hecko from Washington?
Maybe her mixtape teammate Tori Gray will have something to say about it. The mixtape folks are going to be really obnoxious on social media tonight. Not to say that they aren't always, but tonight's going to be a little extra special for our mixtape dudes and dudettes out in Seattle. Hasbrook centers the disc to Ishii. The wind for the first time is really becoming a little bit of a factor. It's a crosswind from the far side of the field to the near sideline. And maybe a thrower's wind, almost a thrower's wind.
Yeah, still paling in comparison,
of course,
to the wind that we saw in Round Rock, Texas at the 2019 College Championships.
That was a no throwers wind. Just a huck and hope wind in an upwind downwind game from 2.5 years ago. There's a little contact but no call. Another UCSB drop. Unforced turnover. Rader picks up, feeds it downfield. Lauder continues up the line. Carolina Cutters continue to get open with ease. Evans swings it to Rader, who finds Connerly. And there's the unforced giveaway from Carolina. Dropped by Rader in the backfield. Santa Barbara in the red zone. And Weaver left her feet but could not make the grab, and that's the third time this half she's had her hand on a disc that she could not hang on to. Oh, this would have been a really great catch. And Connerly calls a foul. '19 was North Carolina's Women's Ultimate's first ever semifinal.
Is Hasbrook contesting this? What?
One of those fouls that whether she contests or doesn't contest, it's coming in on one either way.
Yeah, but that certainly looked like a borderline dangerous bid.
Makes the contest even sillier. Carolina gives it back. Through the hands of Devin Quinn. Foul called on the catch. Hasbrook and Connerly, that matchup getting a little spicy. They're going to contest it and send it back. Ian, your body language is telling me you would love to see Carolina take a timeout right here.
You're reading my mind. This is the perfect opportunity. Why not?
You get 2 timeouts per half. UCSB used 1 during the 3-0 run from UNC to start the game. Tough grab there by Laura Bloom. I mean, this whole point pretty much has been played on this side of the field.
Has there been a single D point yet where Dawn Colton hasn't left her feet?
Well, why would she not leave her feet? Of course not. Gravity applies to her in different ways than it applies to the rest of us.
Yeah, I should have kept that in mind before I opened my mouth.
Wow. Another hiccup from Winslow, and she makes up for it immediately. 8 turnovers so far this point, 4 apiece. On the windiest point of the tournament. But I'm not sure the wind has been responsible for many of these mistakes.
Be one thing if we've seen throws pop up or hit the turf, but a lot of these are just hitting receivers in their hands.
Ishii, lefty backhands it over the mark, and then Hasbrook throws it away when she had Weaver open in the end zone.
That angle was a little tougher. I don't know how open Weaver was. I mean, Barnett was cutting down the angle.
I got you.
I don't mean to put you on blast.
No. Trust me, I felt blasted many times, and that was not it.
What's
and
that?
Ian's excited because he just saw a timeout called.
Let's go! Well done, Pleiades.
So everyone will take a deep breath. I mean, you wouldn't disagree if I said that that's a throw that Hasbro should hit. I expect her to make it.
No.
Weaver had a couple steps.
I think the window was especially small because of the angle that Barnett, the defender, was taking.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. We are closing in on the long shadow hour here in Norco. Over the next hour or so, these shadows are going to get even steeper in length. Got about 2 hours of daylight left, maybe a little less. Second 2 semifinals will be under the lights here at the Silver Lakes Sports Complex here in Norco, California, known colloquially as Horsetown, USA. A little disappointed, Ian. I haven't seen a horse since I've been here.
I'm disappointed in myself because for all the prep I've done for this weekend, that's the first time I've heard that this place is Horsetown, USA.
We are at the Silver Lakes Equestrian and Sports Complex here in Norco, which has been a wonderful facility. Connerly hits Colton. Third score for Colton, and UNC with a dominant first half performance here in the semis. 8-3 over UCSB. And after 9 turnovers on the point, we got a timeout. Carolina marches down the field for the score.
Listen, the only adversity that Carolina has faced this game has come from the elements and some of their own mistakes. But they've triumphed over those, winning the very few long points, winning so many downfield matchups, and converting after turnovers. So great to see Don Colton's defensive effort rewarded once again.
Pleiades feeling good. They are half away from advancing. UC Santa Barbara with some work to do, and Sam Fontaine, one of the coaches of UCSB, joins us now. Sam, I knew you had a lot of respect for Carolina coming into this game. How different is it facing them in person, and how will you handle some of the challenges they've thrown at you in the second half?
Yeah, I think they're really consistent about running their reset systems and not getting themselves into high-pressure situations. So we've just got to do a better job of winning the live side on defense. We're a little bit out of position from our initial positioning, and we're just giving up a lot of free stuff. So we're going to work on tweaking that in the second half.
Sam, we're up here in the booth. We feel a little bit of breeze that's picked up relative to the start of this game. What do those conditions do to your game plan, and how do you talk to your receivers who've had some difficulty making some of those basic catches in the first half?
Yeah, I think it's just maybe a little bit of nervousness. We've never been in a situation like this before as a team, so we're dropping a lot of things that we normally come down with. I'm not too concerned with it because at this point, the only thing that we can really do is focus in and hope that we start making the plays that we know we can.
Sam, we know Jasmine Childress can be a special player and make crazy highlight reel plays. You didn't see her on the field too much in the first half. Can you enlighten us on Jasmine's situation and plan for the second half?
Yeah, we'll probably use her more. We were hoping to get more chances to get breaks on defense, and we were hoping to save her for those. But yeah, we need to use her a little bit more in the second half, and hopefully that'll be on defense, but we'll see either way.
Alrighty, well, you guys start the second half on defense, I believe, so that'll be a chance to get a break early. Sam, best of luck. Go have some fun and tactician your way through this.
Thanks, Evan.
Thanks, Sam. 8-3, Pleiades leads UCSB at halftime. Big uphill climb for Childress and the Burning Skirts ahead.
There is a place where we are us at our best.
A place where everyone is welcome.
Regardless of age, shape, skin color, or anything else that tries to box people in.
A place where we defy the odds, defy the naysayers,
and even defy gravity.
A place where it's accepted that success
doesn't belong to the faint-hearted. It belongs to the brave, to the determined.
A place that knows grit, knows grace, knows bright lights, and knows empty bleachers.
A place where we remember to laugh.
Where we learn to trust.
Learn to high-five strangers.
And eventually, even learn to fly.
A place where character, community, and competition
are all as balanced as a disc in flight.
That place isn't in a stadium or on a field.
That place is in the spirit of our players.
Because we don't just play ultimate, we live ultimate.
The last 50 years have seen a lot of positive change.
Around a whole range of important issues.
And some things remain reassuringly unchanged.
Like the spirit of our game.
Ultimate is 50 years young.
And still a perfect circle.
Of fair play.
Athletic pursuit.
And camaraderie.
In fact, Ultimate was a social network.
Before social networks even existed.
Respetamos nuestras diferencias.
And understand the value that they add.
The revolution of the disc in flight continues to prove
that there's nothing we can't achieve
when we
pull together.
Long live Ultimate.
Larga vida Ultimate.
Long live Ultimate.
Well, North Carolina entered this tournament as the #2 seed behind Carleton. And look, a lot of folks have been looking forward to UNC Carleton for a long time. Maybe we will see that tomorrow. This first half was mighty impressive from UNC. Don Colton set the tone. I mean, a couple great grabs early in the game to give UNC a bunch of breaks.
There are so many tremendous athletes at this tournament. But Dawn Colton's athleticism is just on another level relative to her competitors. She's able to take the toughest downfield matchup and win it against Winslow, and she's able to attack after the turnover. And there are so many other people like Alex Barnett who can do the same for this Pleiades group.
Grace Connerly, Alex Barnett, Dawn Colton leading the D-line. Meanwhile, the O-line for UNC has been just spectacular with Smith and Meisner and you all orchestrating beautifully.
Calf injury, not a problem for Tyler Smith. And at this rate, if the defense just stays out there and Tyler has to go out there for a couple 3-throw O points, that's exactly what this Pleiades group wants.
8 goals in the first half, 8 different goal throwers for North Carolina. And the longest point of the half was the last point of the half. Yeah. But it ended in a familiar way with Dawn Colton streaking up line. Connerly the assist and the 3rd goal of the game for number 11.
Just a knifing throw down that right-handed flick sideline. Caught the defenders face guarding and able to sneak that one in there.
Sometimes when you're down, you need a dance party to try to swing the momentum and energy. UCSB dancing, second half coming up.
Most people just see a disc. At Discraft, we see over 40 years of innovation, driven by passion, consistency that inspires talent, built on a foundation, designed for success. Over 4 decades of experience behind your first throw.
What would it look like if a competitive sport didn't mean a choice? Between beauty and brutality, style and steel. Between calling yourself out and clawing to stay in. What if there was a game that found balance? Between spirit and sport. Agony and elation. Like a disc dancing on air.
We now have evolved into a team sport of a game called Ultimate.
It stands by itself in that it is like no other game.
Between perfect passes and devastating drops. Like the balance we so desperately needed, we had no choice but to create it ourselves. Long live grit and grace. Long live Ultimate.
Most people just see a disc. At Discraft, we see over 40 years of innovation, driven by passion, consistency that inspires talent, built on a foundation, designed for success. Over 4 decades of experience behind your first throw.
Brilliant first half performance from UNC Pleiades in their second semifinal at the college championships. The first was 2.5 years ago, 2019. Elizabeth Parker was a 5th year on that Carolina team, and Elizabeth Parker now on the coaching staff joins us now. How close was that first half to as well as Pleiades can play?
That's a great question. Honestly, I think we don't really know where our ceiling is, so I wouldn't be able to tell you if we're close to scratching it. But as far as I'm concerned, there's only up. So I think the second half we're gonna look even better because we're just gonna keep bringing it every point like we've been doing all week, trying to just level up every point, every game.
Elizabeth, can you take us inside the halftime huddle? Where is the room to improve in a game where you already have an 8-3 stranglehold lead?
Sure. The room to improve is in our own game, as always, what we can control. That's a lot about keeping our energy high in the second half. It's a lot about making sure that we're making the most of our in-zone possessions, and it's just a lot about being the team that we know we are, no matter what's happening outside of us.
Dawn Colton has had a great tournament, 3 goals in that first half. What is it like when she guards you in practice?
Yeah, we love that lady. Well, Dawn and I only had 1 year of overlap and then some club overlap. I would say, you know, it's a hellscape when she's guarding you. It's not what anybody wants to see across from them on the line. And we are just really, really lucky to have her on our side.
Elizabeth, we'll let you go. Best of luck in the second half. Thanks for the time.
Thanks so much. Y'all have a good one.
Elizabeth Parker, one of the 4 coaches of this Pleiades team. Jesse Jones, Claire Revere, and David Allison, who's also been leading UNC Darkside, who we'll see later tonight. Second half after this quick break.
Good morning, privates. Good morning, drill sergeant. I mean, seriously, it's gorgeous outside. I love the way the sun comes through those trees. Why is he so happy? What did you say, Private? Nothing, drill sergeant. You seem to be in a good mood today. Astute observation, Private.
He's probably happy because he found out Honey Nut Cheerios can help lower cholesterol.
So, I propose a quiet, meditative walk through nature. Does that sound delightful, everyone? Yes, drill sergeant. Good.
I have dreamt of performing in Red Shore City since I was a little kid.
Here she is, the star of our show. There's nothing Rosita can't do.
I can't do this. She's afraid. Can I try?
No. Portia, wait!
This is probably for the best.
But I wrote this part for you. Time to show the world what you're really made of.
She's walking on
Sing 2, rated PG.
Murray reveals a mistake I made because Grace Connerly had 2 assists, the first and the last assist in that first half. There were not 8 throwers of goals, there were 7 for Carolina. Connerly threw 2 of them. Ishii had a couple of assists for UCSB as they begin the second half on defense. And the wind is crescendoed a little bit more during that halftime break. Still nothing vicious or torrential, but impactful. I think we'll see the wind impact things a little bit here in the second half.
Same old initiating offense for North Carolina Pleiades. Couple cutters clearing out and opening up space for a big gainer underneath.
Jessica Wu to Ella Jungst. Winslow in her pocket defensively. Reset to Bridget Meisner. Tough throw from Jungst. Meisner to the end zone. Zwerzinski scores again. This Carolina offense is in quite the groove.
Look at Ella Jungst just twirling and dancing after she threw that goal. I beg your pardon, she threw the hockey assist into the hands of Bridget Meisner. We talked about her finding that zone of comfort and finding herself amidst the pressure. She is in a groove right now. And so is the rest of this Pleiades offense. Check it out right there on your screen. Just fired up.
Understandably so. Jesse Jones and North Carolina Pleiades 6 goals away from the final for the first time ever. UCSB has not been able to generate much defensive impact on UNC's offensive points. Can they play smooth offense at least? Nope. That reset did not have a chance. Connerly with her 3rd assist, Colton with her 4th goal, and UNC with another convincing break.
That's the other coaching tenet that got violated right there. Just got beaten to the four-side cone for the goal. As we see an unforced turnover from UCSB, and then after, Sydney Rader picks up, finds Connerly, continues into the end zone to a wide open Dawn Colton. We haven't talked about Sydney Rader much. She's an experienced player on this roster, but one of the few women with the talent to play Phoenix who has opted to steer clear of club division play by and large. And Jesse Jones has certainly tried to get her to play, but there's also been a silver lining in that, because when so many players have conflicts, Sydney Rader is the one there to lead the team and manage the practices and make sure everyone's focused and learning and focusing on the right things.
She's been a captain since her sophomore year, very comfortable as a leader, and yeah, this college experience means so much to her, and she didn't want to do anything that could get in the way of that. Think about all the development that happened while the club team was off practicing and Sydney Rader was working with some of UNC's young players. We probably won't even see all the fruits of that labor until maybe this spring or maybe 2023 spring.
Right.
We have seen UCSB do to other teams what UNC has done to them in this semifinal. I mean, Pleiades has been a buzzsaw, but we have seen Burning Skirts dominate in a similar fashion. Think about the second half against Texas. So we know that they're capable of great things. I'm not sure they have the firepower to come back from this deficit, but this is a building block and a step in the right direction.
Tell you what, Alex Barnett was inches away from a block there. I don't know if she was aware that the throw had gone up. You see her guarding the front of the stack, then the cut goes up. Oh, goodness. She was well positioned, but better offensive execution by Santa Barbara there.
Vienna Lee to Elsa Winslow as Winslow scores her first goal of the semifinal.
That's shocking to me that this is the first time Winslow has caught something in the end zone. I mean, if I would have placed a prop bet in the first half, who scores first? Does Elsa Winslow score at least 2 goals in the first half? I would have had to pay the bookies.
Yeah. Odds makers take a beating right there. North Carolina centers for Smith again. Swerezinski feeds it downfield for Caroline Spencer. To a tight space for Youngst, and she gets bid into by Winslow. Should that be a Cardian?
I want to see it again before I say definitively. That angle, I don't know if I see a card. All right, the other angle, less charitable to Winslow's perspective. I'd see a blue card for that. Yellow card on the borderline. You feel differently?
I'm still confused about the difference between a blue and a yellow and when they're used. I'm not confused about UNC's offense being great, because Ella Youngst just scored a trademark Youngst goal right there. Running to the sideline, tapping it in bounds. 11-4 Pleiades.
Meet her at the front cone. I mean, that's the best response you can have after a contentious moment, right?
Sure thing.
Just beat your defender to the cone.
Swerezinski had a couple of goals. There's an assist. Ella Youngst started playing Ultimate right before her freshman year of high school, but not the first time she was exposed to Ultimate, because her 6th grade teacher in middle school was great Ultimate handler in the DC area for a long time, Jenny Fay. Ms. Fay was Ella's 6th grade teacher. Ella said she remembered when Jenny came back after winning nationals for the first time with Scandal. She was very excited, but she didn't really know what that meant, obviously, at that time. Small world, huh?
Goodness.
Jenny Fay, one of the great handlers her time.
This community is so big, yet so small.
First zone look of the day from UNC. They have thrown this zone a bunch throughout the weekend, despite the fact there hasn't been a lot of wind before the last 30 minutes or so.
I'm okay with this from a coaching and strategic perspective, right? Get some reps in these conditions against what should be a high caliber opponent. Practice it some more. Who knows how much you might want to deploy it in the championship game tomorrow, as we think they'll close things out here.
Sutherland throws into the poach and Rader picks it off. Into the hands of Grace Connerly. To Rader. Downfield, Colton. Is this point going to end up with Colton catching it in the end zone again? Yes, it is, Ian. Yes, it is.
Evan, I don't think you need me. I'll take the headset off. You got this the rest of the way, right?
12-4 Pleiades as the Don Colton show continues.
That Connerly-Colton connection so potent all game long.
Just making it look so easy. I mean, that's the staggering thing. This UCSB team is undefeated this season. They haven't lost a game. And they're looking like a B team from App State. I know the App State A team was really good this year, but they still got trounced by Carolina, I think 12-5 in the regional final. So it's not a shot at App State.
And Santa Barbara is coming out of the Southwest Division, right? Historically, a very strong region.
Well, 3 teams in the quarterfinals, all the UCs, Santa Barbara and Davis.
Stanford's not even here.
Yeah, San Diego, that was the defending champs were slipping my mind for a second. Yeah, how about Stanford not making it to nationals? And obviously there's a Dartmouth-size hole in this whole regionals national series as well.
No question.
Dartmouth in the last 3 championship games not participating in this fall series. Caroline Tornquist, one of the captains of the Dartmouth team, says they will be back in the spring. Their school made it really tough for them to try and compete. As we see the cross-field hammer. Ambitious when it left Weaver's hands and out of the reach of Elsa Winslow.
That's not a sign of desperation. I don't know what is.
Connie Quee picks up. Not a captain, but one of the unheralded leaders of this Pleiades squad. UCSB still throwing the bodies around, but UNC has the answers. Holder floats the reset back and intended for Quee, it's picked off. Jasmine Childress spun around on that missed catch. And then Weaver deflects it, gets it back for the Burning Skirts.
Need a little reset here. I wouldn't hate to see a timeout here from either one of these teams.
I'm hoping we get one Jasmine Childress moment. She was going deep there, but the throw was holstered.
Oh, says a lot about Carolina's defense that she hasn't even come close to having a moment yet in this game.
Sure does. Hasbrook squeezes it through. Lee sends Childress. Jasmine Childress! There's the moment! Add another clip to her Callahan reel.
Hasbrook, great work. Moving the defense, throwing the fake, and then Vienna Lee has wanted to do this all game long. Childress attacking with the overhand grab and connecting in the end zone.
On Friday morning, Jasmine Childress tweeted, "There have been 649 days and 2 surgeries since I last played Frisbee, and I get to do it with the Burning Skirts one last time. This tournament isn't about winning. Where's the old Jasmine?" she asked parenthetically, but about cherishing the memories that will last a lifetime. Let's get it, Skirties. And she has the gif of Andy Bernard in the final episode of The Office, and I wish you could know that you were in the good old days before they were over. These are the good old days. Playing College Ultimate. Getting this last opportunity. It's December, we're at College Nationals. What are we doing here? It's very special to have this chance. And I'm glad we got to see Jasmine Childress show off her game on this stage.
That makes 2 of us.
But certainly the story of this semifinal, obviously, is the team in blue. One of the few O-line mishaps as Meisner unable to make the clean catch on this slightly errant reset throw from Jessica Wu. And Burning Skirts break the Carolina O-line for the first time. Vienna Lee sending Caitlin Weaver back of the end zone. She's out of bounds. There are several lines on the field, so it can be a little confusing. If we were playing soccer, she would have been in bounds here.
But Pleiades needs to take care of business here. Get the legs rested. Just close this out. Start focusing on your recovery. Julia Hasbrook might have something to say about that.
Burning Skirts gaining a little moxie, but unable to connect on their deep shots. Well, one thing about this college nationals compared to some of the others, the championship games are late in the day. UNC doesn't play tomorrow, assuming they hang on here right now, until 9 p.m. Eastern time. Tomorrow, that's 6 p.m. local time here in California. So they will have a full day for Ellie Youngs to work up the jitters.
That's exactly what she wants.
To be in her optimal performance by the early evening. Here's Rzazinski. Floating it to space. There was no one really cutting, but she put enough loft on it that it's hung on to. And Carolina's ready to storm the field to celebrate Teresa Yu's goal. The observers are looking at each other like, why haven't we called it a goal? Let's raise our hands and signal touchdown. And Carolina is within 2 of the final.
Well, Hasbrook earned the block and had eyes for the end zone, but too much oomph on this one. And then Zwerzinski had an opportunity to throw a deep shot in flow earlier in the point. Played catch for a second. And then once she got it back from Meisner, oh, okay, now I feel comfortable enough to pull the trigger on this mid-range shot.
So not the cleanest of Carolina's offensive points in this game, but it still ends like every other UNC O point has this game, with Pleiades scoring and converting on offense. UNC has 7 breaks in this game, 5 of which came in the first half. So Rzazinski's enjoying herself. Tough grab made right there by Weaver. Now, Caitlin Weaver is one of those players, even after a disappointing game like this, I imagine she'll still have a smile on her face. Got to chat with her last year, part of the Callahan Conversation series when she was a top 5 Callahan finisher. You know, during the pandemic, in the early days, it was just great to talk Ultimate with anybody. And you know, some folks were pretty demoralized about no Frisbee, no series, this virtual Callahan. Caitlin Weaver had a smile on her face and just cheers up everyone in the same room that she's in.
This is one of the first O points this game where Julia Hasbrook hasn't been on the field for the Burning Skirts. I didn't see her limping off to the sideline after that last point.
That's a good thing to note right there. Good point by you. Nikki Yang needs a reset. Gets one with with Maria Petra Sutherland. And that'll work. There's Winslow's second score. UCSB stabilizing a little bit. The too little, too late department, it seems, but playing better here in the second half. So it's 13-6. It's obviously a very different flavor than the quarterfinal matchup in 2019 when these two teams met. UNC taking care of business in that game. Pleiades was ousted by Dartmouth in the semifinals 2.5 years ago. Childress with the pull. Still a ways away from any cap, so Carolina 2 goals from the final.
The embarrassment of riches on this Pleiades roster.
Good way to put it.
Incredible. How much have we talked about Bridget Meisner, the Callahan nominee, today?
Not enough.
This team just hasn't had to rely on any single one of those stars. Of course, Colton has elevated, and Connerly's been great, and Ellie Jungst has gotten on the score sheet, but
when Tyler Smith wasn't available, the O-line handlers were mostly Meisner and Alex Barnett crossed over. And having Smith available on offense allows Pleiades to move Barnett over and play D. And you know how big of an impact player she can be in that role. Maybe they send Teresa Yu back to Denmark next spring and then have her come back right before the Nationals begins in Milwaukee. Oof. It's working out pretty well.
Yeah.
Jungst right by that front pylon. Not yet in. And she'll pick up the assist to the aforementioned Yu. 14-6 UNC.
Santa Barbara already accepted this outcome. Defenders just kind of disc watching, not really paying attention to attacking receivers in the red zone. That's an easy finish there. From Jungst to Yu.
So if we give North Carolina the win here, they'll face the survivor between Carleton and Washington later tonight. And this puts us in position that, look, we're 3 wins away from something that's never happened before. And that's the same school winning both men's and women's championships in the same year at College Nationals. Never happened before. The North Carolina men are the top seed, favorites in the men's division. As North Carolina women, look, they may see the top seed Carleton tomorrow.
It's just amazing that other historically great programs like Stanford, Colorado,
Oregon.
Santa Barbara and Oregon haven't accomplished that feat to this point.
There have been years when the same school has been in the final, but Carolina looking to do even better. After Raleigh Ring of Fire won the club championship in October, and Raleigh Phoenix didn't win, but they were certainly the talk of the tournament for what they did against the eventual champs in the semis.
Gave them their best game of the entire tournament. Better competition than Brood Squad did. That was a hand block.
It was a clean hand block, you're right. Izzy Myers-Miller. And then you throw in the success that Raleigh Radiants had, the Raleigh Flyers. It has been a good 2021 for Carolina Ultimate. And the state might just be getting started. Of course, the UNC men are getting ready to play in their 7th consecutive semifinal. Think about that. I think the Stanford women are the only team that has done that before.
It's not even a thing anymore for Darkside. They made semis. So what? Job's not done.
And the Stanford women made 7 straight semis, 2001 to 2007. Don't believe it's happened in the men's division. Bodies tumble. It looks like everybody's all right. Maybe one last highlight here for UCSB. It's Tessa Cortez. And squeezing it through the tight space. Nikki Yang just narrowly gets it past the defender for the Burning Skirt score.
Sydney Rader just getting a little too greedy there. You saw her look back and talk to the sideline after pulling the trigger on that one. Of course, Don Colton hit the turf trying to adjust to make the grab. Santa Barbara, not done yet. Getting one more on the board. We know the outcome pretty much in hand here in this semifinal.
So Sutherland gets a goal in the semifinals, which is something she can remember for a long time. North Carolina has its O-line ready to go. Jessie Jones over there giving her team one last little pep talk. They seem so much more comfortable now than they did 2.5 years ago in 2019. I mean, like, they entered that tournament as the #1 seed, but they had never made a semi before. So it was like, are these women ready to really make this leap? And look, they ran into Jack Verjou and Juliana Werfele in the semifinals, among others, on that Dartmouth team that had won the 2 previous championships. I wouldn't say that the 2019 Carolina team wasn't necessarily ready to compete for a championship, because obviously they were, but they seem so much more comfortable, confident, and purposed right now.
It's like this group was made for this moment.
Yeah.
The combination of the experience that it got at the club level, the preparation that everyone put in over the course of the pandemic. I can't get over having spoken to so many coaches and captains in the lead up to this tournament. Just how much commitment there was around the triangle to staying safe and bettering everyone. It's just such a different experience relative to the experience that so many other people had throughout the pandemic. And it was a period of growth for all of these players.
They've come out better for it on the other side. If you can say we're on the other side, which it certainly doesn't feel like we are, but that's a different conversation entirely. We'll stay on the field for the moment. Here's Meisner. Big gainer to Wu. Tough grab by Jungst. Jungst up the line, Meisner on the doorstep, into the end zone, and Carolina is not there yet, because Caroline Spencer could not hang on. Think Jesse Jones will make her run sprints for that one after the semi?
I don't know. By the looks of Jasmine Childress's body language, she just wanted that point to be over. She was the closest defender in the area and wasn't even making a step towards it.
Meisner gets it back. There's a collision. The disc lands incomplete. And UNC has about 20 yards to go. Last time this Pleiades team lost a game was to the club team Raleigh Phoenix. Club sectionals here at College Nationals. UNC is one win from a title. And with that score, they dispatch UCSB 15-7 Pleiades in the championship game at Nationals for the first time ever. An occasional hiccup here and there, Ian, but by and large, a mighty complete, dominant performance from North Carolina.
And you saw the iconic triangle ultimate finish there. That red zone offense, the cutters pushing back, making space for a three-person game. A little game of dominator, handler, weave, mini. At the front of the end zone. This team is on the cusp of something special right now.
This team, this school, this city, this state, this system. We'll talk about Mike DeNardis a little more in the next game. 15-7, Pleiades over Burning Skirts.
Good morning, privates. Good morning, drill sergeant. I mean, seriously, it's gorgeous outside. I love the way the sun comes through those trees. Why is he so happy? What did you say, Private?
Nothing, drill sergeant. You seem to be in a good mood today.
Astute observation, Private.
He's probably happy because he found out Honey Nut Cheerios can help lower cholesterol.
So, I propose a quiet, meditative walk through nature. Does that sound delightful to everyone? Yes, drill sergeant. Good.
I have dreamt of performing in Red Shore City since I was a little kid.
Here she is, the star of our show. There's nothing Rosita can't do.
I can't do this. She's afraid. Can I try?
No. Push away!
This is probably for the best.
But I wrote this part for you. Time to show the world what you're really made of.
Sing 2, rated PG.
The 2021 USA Ultimate College Championships are presented by Discraft, home of the Ultrastar, the official disc of USA Ultimate. Your place for all your ultimate and disc golf needs. Visit Discraft.com. We make flying discs fun. North Carolina Pleiades also makes flying discs fun, at least for themselves, not so much for their opponents. 15-7. An evisceration of UCSB here in this first women's semifinal. And Don Colton set the tone with a couple early goals. Don joins us now. Don, congratulations. North Carolina in its first championship game in the history of the Pleiades program. How you feeling right now?
So excited. We've been working for so long to be able to have this opportunity, and we're so thrilled to be able to play another game with this team.
Dawn, how has this program grown since that semifinals appearance in Round Rock in 2019 to today?
We just haven't stopped working at all, any of us. So the people that were out there on the field who came back today, we're constantly working hard, and all of the new people who have joined us have also gone in with that same mentality that you just have to work hard and you will see results. So we've just continued to work hard the whole time, all throughout quarantine.
Your coaches and captains have told us that you win all of the break and off-season workout challenges. Where does your motor come from?
I don't know. I think that that's just kind of who I am as a person. I care so much about Ultimate, so I put all of myself into it.
Well, I wanted to ask you who taught you how to lay out, because you throw your body around more than any player I've seen in a while.
I actually taught myself along with one of my high school friends, Beth Mantrick. We went out every single Saturday for a whole winter and practiced for hours, and I was so bad, and I couldn't make myself do it. I had a huge mental block. I had to spend probably at least 100 hours doing it, and then we just taught ourselves to do it because all of the guys in the area growing up did it, but none of the women did, or none of the girls in our high school program, so we really wanted to learn and be able to do that too.
Jesse Jones told us before this tournament that you and your focus shifted a lot in the lead up to this Pleiades season. You focused on building up some of your younger teammates and helping a lot with player development. What went into that decision and that focus shift for you?
I really wanted us to have the deepest team, and I truly think that we do have the deepest team at Nationals this year. And I just care so much about the players on the team that I want them to be able to succeed, and I want to put them in a position where they can do that. So yeah, I mean, they're my friends. I want to help them out as much as I can, and I want them to be able to grow.
Don, before we let you go, give us your breakdown of Carleton, Washington, the other women's semifinal coming up later tonight.
I'm actually really interested to see. I know some people on both teams, and I want to see what the matchups end up being and who ends up on top. They both are really strong programs, and I'm interested to see how they'll adapt to one another throughout the game.
Well, we are looking forward to the final tomorrow. I know you are as well. Thanks for the time, Dawn. Congrats on this win, and we will see you tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Dawn Carleton, one of the stars of this UNC Pleiades team, and it's on its way to the first championship game in program history. Our play of the game is the opening point that set the tone. Connerly the layout, and remember, Devin Quinn almost got the block there. She deflected this disc up the line, but Carleton made the adjustment.
Well, you heard it right there from Dawn. She spent 100 hours just learning how to get herself to lay out. If that is not the epitome of a person who does not quit or doesn't know how to quit, I don't know what is, and she didn't quit this entire game.
15-7 win in the quarters, 15-7 win in the semis. North Carolina has separated itself from every team it has faced all season long. The question is, who will they face in the final tomorrow? It'll either be Carleton or Washington. We'll find that one out around 11 p.m. Eastern time tonight when that game gets going. But coming up next, about 73 minutes from now, Brown and North Carolina in the second men's semifinal. Halfway through this semifinal Sunday quadruple header, congratulations to North Carolina Pleiades. 15-7 over UCSB.